I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance. You know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance. You know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man.
Congratulations, brother.
And here we go.
Hey everybody, thank you for checking in with me today. We're going live today, man, and we've got a very, very fun hour set aside for you. Well, first and foremost, I want to apologize. I know it's Taco Tuesday with Gunny, but had a long day at the office today, man. I wanted to get back in time to go ahead and make some fish tacos to go ahead and exemplify the roasting and the cooking that the New York Jets did of the Dolphins this past weekend. But unfortunately, traffic in Houston did not cooperate with me today and had some other obligations prior to this show. Therefore, I owe you guys some fish tacos next week on Taco Tuesday with Gunny. But with that said, the New York Jets, man, we are 3-2. We are 3-2. And today, I have a very special guest to go ahead and share this platform with me to talk to you guys and talk Jets. So let's go ahead and welcome the Italy Jet from Everything NYJ. Hey, what's up, Italy Jet, man? How you doing, brother?
Hey, what's going on, my man? How's things doing?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good, like as you should be as well.
Oh, ecstatic. Can you see me okay? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. You're coming in loud and clear on my end.
Okay.
How about me? Am I good?
Oh, you look good.
All right.
I just didn't know if you could see me or not.
Oh, yeah. You're live, man. You're live. You're on. Everybody's watching us right now, brother. We got
Cool.
of course our
Alrighty.
boy DKBX Jets jumping on. You know what I'm saying what's up to us.
What's
But
up?
yeah, bro, it's what's up, DK, man? Like, I'm looking forward to our show, of course, this Thursday. That intro was pretty much done. Had a couple of issues with the music licensing. They actually have somebody else that's got too similar music, so I got some new fresh stuff
gotcha.
I want to be putting out there for us. So I'll have that for you guys tomorrow to go ahead and validate and verify.
Cool.
But yeah, the New York Jets are 3-2. They're 3-2.
Such a good feeling. Such a good feeling.
It's
more like relief.
I mean, is it relief though? Like, okay, so what was your original prediction for the New York Jets this season?
So I had three different ones. 9-8, 8-9, and then recently it's 7-10. And honestly, the more and more I keep watching this team and looking at this team, I think the Broncos and Green Bay are very beatable. If you saw anything from the Giants game, but Green Bay, it's like Rodgers is not with it when it comes to his wide receivers. The only thing that's bailing him out is his kicking team and his running backs. So it's a very beatable game in the chemistry. If we can continue the chemistry with the team, with the Jets, it's only going to continue to get better. So I hope we can win 5 out of 6 games coming up.
Yeah, man. I'm also inclined to talk about this coming game, man, because I feel pretty good about it. But, I mean, I think the people are joining us today to go ahead and kind of like talk up a little bit and brag a little bit while we just saw happen this past Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Dolphins come into MetLife Stadium, the MetLife takeover, as they called it, and they got cooked. They got cooked by the New York Jets. And a lot of good things to go ahead and talk about, particularly in that game. But how do you feel knowing that the New York Jets took out the number 1 seed in the AFC and have slid into that number 2 role in doing so?
Honestly, we haven't seen something like this since 2015. We haven't really seen we haven't had a good team in my mind like this since 2015 as well. And I think you bring up a good point. When you're knocking off a team that has so much high expectations going into this season, you just get Tyreek Hill, you drafted Waddle a couple years ago, and you picked up some couple good running backs. This team should be flying. And the fact that even though they had some injuries, we came out and we just kicked their asses. It was cool. It was cool to see in the third and fourth quarter. And I'm just really happy that we have a good, talented team to support us coming through this journey with the whole Jets. It's good stuff.
It's different. It's different, right? Like you just said before, we
Hmm.
haven't had a team that has shown us the ability to win like this since 2015. But I think one major difference from what we saw in 2015 and now is that 2015 team was a team full of veterans. It was a team with veterans
Agreed.
on the back end of their careers, right? These guys, had limited time frame. We were paying them out the ass in order to go ahead and play for the Jets, which limited
Yep.
obviously the potential to go ahead and keep expanding and adding to that roster. We're doing this
Hmm.
now with a very young nucleus, drafted players. These are guys that were drafted by Joe
Agreed.
Douglas. These are guys that are growing
Right.
together. And one of the
Agreed.
things that I think has shocked a lot of us is that there doesn't seem to be a learning curve with these guys.
Nope.
And
Nope.
and and that is different. That is really different. To have a rookie class where we've gotten to where they seem to all show up and have a veteran presence about them to perform
Hmm.
and to execute. I mean, hell, we've seen less penalties from our rookie class than we have from our veterans that are on the team. Like, how does that make you
Agreed.
feel realizing that this team is growing and winning with impact plays from the youth?
It. You would think it would be vice versa, right? You would think the veterans would have more of that leadership role, but when you see a guy like Michael Carter, the running back for us, and you see even Sauce Gardner and even JJ out there being those leaders, it changes the culture for us completely. And also, they want to play for Salah, and also it's really cool to see Sauce with the first interception. My guy, that's awesome on Sunday. I mean, that's what the fans and we've all been waiting for. And the leadership is only going to continue to grow with the chemistry we put out there, the right players that we put out there on defense, the players that we put out on offense. And I can't wait to see what Carter and Sauce and JJ continue to do moving forward, because as the rookies continue to get stronger and better, it's only going to get better, because not only do you have Sauce and Reed continuing to just damage it on defense, our running game is hasn't been like this in a very long time. So I'm very excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, again, I couldn't say it better myself, right? And I think this was the ultimate test for our Jets defensive backs because they've had some pretty good games against the Steelers, against the Browns, and of course the Ravens, and to see them go up against what I think many believe to be the top duo in the NFL when it comes to the wide receiver core, in a Tyreek
Mm,
Hill and a Jalen Waddle, to hold both those guys, you know what I'm saying, for under 100 yards is something that shouldn't be dismissed. Like,
agreed.
a lot of people are going to say, well, it was a third string quarterback. Like, that's why they couldn't get open. The fact of the matter is, your third string quarterback has
Yeah.
already been cultivated to know, hey, listen, find Waddle, find Hill. They'll make plays. Like, those are going to be his
Right.
first and second read. If anything, that's the person that's going to force feed the ball to those guys because he's been told
Hmm.
and conditioned that, hey, those guys are your go to. They're your outlets.
Agreed.
Get the ball in their hands.
Agreed.
And the simple fact that Skyler didn't do that shows that he realized these guys aren't creating separation. And one of the things I
Right.
love about this all 22 film that's come out is it allows us as fans slash the amateur analysts to kind of go back and look, and you realize like, wow, I saw Tyreek Hill get open twice. But it wasn't like open
Right.
like you've seen him get open throughout the season. He had like about a yard and a
Right.
half to 2 yards of separation, like NFL open. Whereas the last 4 games, he's been like Madden open, where he's just freaking by himself 5 yards down the
Yeah.
field, right? Big difference.
Right.
But our guys
Big
played a
difference.
hell of a game, man, in containing the top 2 wide receiver duos like in the NFL. And
Agreed.
and Sauce Gardner's doing it as a rookie, man. Like he's in his
Yeah.
5th game as a pro, and he balled out this week. So I don't know about you. I voted for him. You know what I'm saying, for rookie of the week. I voted for Brees Hall
Same.
a couple of times, but uh, Sauce Gardner, man, like I don't was he somebody you saw coming out of college that you wanted at number 4 overall pick? I know there was a split between offensive linemen and a defense an edge player. Not many individuals were in that realm of like let's get a cornerback, right? But I personally was a big fan of Sauce Gardner. Where did you stand on
Mm.
drafting Sauce Gardner with the 4th overall pick?
Man, let me tell you something. I've been following him for 4 years. He was always my favorite player coming out of college, and I was going to knock down Florham Park if we didn't get Sauce Gardner at number 4. I was right there with Rich Eisen on his campaign to get Sauce Gardner. I was heavy set on him for a solid tight defense, and especially with the signings that people have been making in the AFC East. Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis, you got Hill and Waddle in there now. We need someone to shut down those guys.
Thanks.
It's very, very important for Salah's defense to do that. And that's what Salah's been preaching about this whole offseason is we need a guy like Sherman for his defense. Sherman the way he did for his defense, and it went really well for Sherman. But this Sauce is Salah's type of guy. It's fan base's type of guy. I mean, look at Sauce Gardner's guy's chain. I got my Italy jet chain now, baby. Let's go. We are in this. And I am so happy that we got him. And I knew he was going to be an impact player immediately. And it's showing that Reed and Gardner are going to be at least top 5 or the best duo in the NFL. So, yes. Was I high on Sauce Gardner immediately? Heck yes.
Okay, I'm with you. I think for me, when it went down to analyzing, the top prospects for this year's draft, and I felt that our defense was just disgusting last year. Last place defensively, we got torched all over the field, running game, freaking passing game. It didn't matter. And I got the whole thought process of we need to get a Darrelle Revis like freaking playmaker to go ahead and help us stop the bleeding. And I was looking at Sauce, and I was looking at freaking the kid from Louisiana.
Stingley?
Yeah, Stingley as well.
Yeah.
And Stingley, man, like everybody was so high on him, but like he played one good season. Granted,
Correct.
He has athletic gifts that are just unworldly. But in football, man, you need to be available. And I was uncomfortable with picking that high and thinking we need to go ahead and go with some guy who played really well 2 years ago. And that's when I started looking at Sauce Gardner. And I looked at Kyle Hamilton as well because Kyle Hamilton was that generational talent they all talk about, right? And for me, man, Sauce was just that freakish combination of speed, athleticism, and high IQ. Dude never allowed a touchdown in college. Now, granted, I never believed that he was going to come to the pros and do that, but I do believe
definitely not.
that level of skill set can translate to the NFL because that means, boom, he's shutting down wide receivers in a sport where the passing game has become the highlight. It's become the norm. But Sauce Gardner has literally went from college shutting individuals down to the NFL pros shutting individuals down with seamless ease. And what's scary about it is he hasn't even reached his potential. I think that dude's at like 50 to 60% of what he's going to bring to the table. Sauce Gardner, man, do the draft all over again. I think he goes number 1. I don't think Detroit even wastes the time to get that freaking not Detroit. Jacksonville wastes the time to go ahead and turn that ticket in and take him number 1. What's even funnier about the whole process is the person that I love the most in terms of edge rushers that I felt 100% comfortable with in terms of the first round. Now, again, it was Aiden Hutchinson was my number 1 guy, and Jermaine Johnson was my number 2 guy. I know a lot of people had love for Kayvon Thibodeau, but there was just something about like the diva aspect about him, man, about his brand, and we just had Jamal Adams kind of like, and to me, maybe call it personal bias, but that to me impacted my thought process on Kayvon Thibodeau. I did not want him. And then we saw freaking Javon Walker start rising up the charts. And you look at the numbers, and I'm like, what are we doing? We're going to go ahead and risk a top 10 pick on a guy that just does really, really well in shorts and a T-shirt in the gym because the production wasn't there. I didn't understand, like, again, bro, I'm an amateur, man. I am not a professional by any means. But to me, I'm like, you're this guy because of his athletic freak nature. We're gonna go ahead and make him the number. Like he's up there now in the top 10. I had so many questions, bro. But JJ to me was a guy that was proven, right? He people keep thinking like he sucked when he was at Georgia. He didn't suck. He played well. He wanted more opportunity to shine. And he said, you know what? I'm gonna bet on me. I'm going to go to Florida State, and I'm going to go ahead and shine. And he did exactly that. But coming from JUCO, right, I saw a guy with work ethic, discipline, and the confidence in himself to go ahead and continue to grind and chase his dream. You that level of grit and ability to go ahead and pretty much focus in and hone in on a one particular goal is not something everybody has. So I love that part about Jermaine Johnson. But then you saw him dominate in the ACC, like straight dominate. And people really thought like, nah, this dude was 26th pick, bro. He dropped to the 26th pick. Joe Douglas was like, what the hell is happening here? And went up and grabbed that man. And I think Jermaine Johnson is also just scraping the surface in terms of what he's capable of doing. He's arguably the best edge rusher that can set the edge and be impactful in the run. And if I'm not mistaken, he's leading all rookie edge rushers in sacks, even against Aiden Hutchinson. Bro, Joe Douglas is a god amongst men. And I think if I was the owner of the Jets, this man would already have a 10-year contract. So in terms of the Jets' first round, right? Like, did you see this kind of impact happening this early on? Because I'm not going to lie to you, I did not. But this has been insane.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I mean, when you look at our draft, once we got Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson, I wanted Williams from Alabama because he's a St. Louis boy, so I'll let that pass. I know he doesn't come until later this year, and I'm excited what he's going to do with the Lions, but I'm really happy we did get Garrett Wilson because that was my second option. Okay. But I knew we weren't done in the first round. I knew Joe Douglas was going to go up and get JJ because, honestly, that's a Joe Douglas move. I mean, he always surprises everybody. He always wants to blow people out of the water. And just like what he did to go up and get Hall in the second round, he surprises everybody. Doesn't matter if it's in this free agency. Doesn't matter if it's like a week before training camp. I loved the JJ one because JJ not only fits the Jets on the defense, but he fits the grit. I mean, just this character switching 3 times in college, right? To go to Florida State to get arguably his best year in college. Yeah, he's a little bit on the older side, but who cares? He is proving everybody's point on what he's doing with the Jets, and it's showing.
Man, I think I really can't say this enough, man, but I really believe that this team is by far the most talented roster the Jets have had since the days of Rex Ryan. But even with the days of Rex Ryan, we're talking about a bunch of veterans.
Exactly.
A bunch of veterans that played the game. Of course, we had a couple of guys we drafted, of course, Nick Mangold, Shaw Ferguson, Darrell Reeves.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, a lot of that component was veteran-based, right? Veteran-heavy. He brought a lot of guys from Baltimore with him when he became the head coach. And the excitement to have, like, and I've said this, and people think I'm crazy, but the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets arguably have the most talented rosters right now in the AFC East. And I don't think it's close. And what I mean by that is this, in terms of sustainability. Now, the Buffalo Bills right now are definitely the best team all around in our division. Got it.
Correct.
But they are paying a lot of those individuals to be on the rosters. They are top heavy. So much money. And then they still got to pay freaking Josh Allen next year. Hey, look, there's only so much money to go around. And at some point or another, when you pay Josh Allen, because you got to pay that man, you're going to have to let people go. Is it going to be Stephon Diggs? Are you going to take away from the defensive side of the ball? Where's it going to come from? The talent gap, I think, is going to increase because when you're winning like these guys are, they don't have those top premier draft picks, which is great. It's great to have, right? But the window to go ahead and be truly impactful in this era in the NFL, not everybody can do what the Rams do and decide, like, we're just going to go ahead and go all out and just give up draft picks and just bring up all this talent. Look at them now. They're struggling because there's no depth behind their starters, right? They're top heavy and they're paying for it. The Rams just won the Super Bowl last year. And like that, they went from Super Bowl champions to looking awfully mediocre, right? And that's the price you pay when you're going to go ahead and pay individuals for talent to come in your team. Building a team the right way, the New York Jets right now have a very bright future. We have 11 to 12 players right now on the team who are impactful, very impactful players on rookie or second-year deals. Then we have the veterans we just signed who are all getting paid, what you would say very well, but I think DJ Reed is underpaid. We got him for a deal, seeing how he's performing. He's
Right.
25 years old, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
our worst contract right now, I would say, is C.J. Mosley, who's got 51
Correct.
tackles thus far in the year. So how bad
Correct.
can that really be? We're 5
Right.
games in, 51 tackles. And then Dwayne Brown, another contract that top heavy, but that was necessity. We had to go ahead and find a way to shore up that offensive line. Makes sense. That's it. 2 bad
Right.
contracts. Some would say 2 bad contracts.
Yeah.
We're built to keep getting better. The Buffalo
Mm-hmm.
Bills need to win it now or next year. The Miami
Agreed.
Dolphins also are built to go ahead and keep getting better. Like, I think right now this division is going to belong to either the New York Jets or the Miami Dolphins. And
Agreed.
it's exciting to be in that conversation
Agreed.
or even in that role. So again, maybe that's me speaking hyperbole, but what do you think?
No, you're. Well, listen, I think I couldn't agree more with what you're saying about the Buffalo Bills. I've been saying this since the offseason to just my friends, my family, and Liam, my co-host. The Bills got to win now. If they don't win now or in the next couple of years, they're going to be screwed not only financially, but they're going to be screwed with talent. It doesn't matter if you got all these Josh Allens, if you got a Stephon Diggs. Look what the Chiefs have done. The Chiefs are a good team, but they paid Mahomes all this money, and you lose Tyreek Hill. They still have to pay Jones even next year and Kelsey.
And
What are you
Kelce.
going to do with that? Yeah, Kelsey too. Like I said, it's one of those things where what are you going to do if you're the Bills? Now, if they don't win now or next year, they will be screwed. But I think the Jets and Miami Dolphins have been doing good is they are really investing in the youth, and that's all you can ask for a person in a team like Salah and the Jets to where they want to grow it from the inside because we haven't seen that in a long time. You go from the Rex Ryan days, Todd Bowles days, and you can even arguably say Gase. It's one of those things where we've always gotten veterans. We've always didn't really invest in the draft, and we drafted really awful. Me and you have talked about it. So it's one of those things where now that we are investing more in the youth, I think the way Joe Douglas handles his business is just going to get better and better. And I agree with the C.J. Mosley thing. I agree with Dwayne Brown. We had to get Dwayne Brown, unfortunately, unfortunate circumstances. I still love Dwayne Brown. C.J. Mosley, his contract, he's one of those Mike McCadden contracts. So I still want him here. I know he was injury prone. He had a really good first game when he came here, and then he gets injured, and
Mid-game,
that
bro.
sucks.
That game had all of us excited. I was like, ooh, well worth every penny. Then he got hurt.
Exactly.
And that was
then he
the
got
end
hurt
of that for the year.
And then you go on, and then then you got Le'Veon Bell. Everyone's excited. It was down to the Ravens and down to us, and then he chose us, and then Gase just kind of screwed that over. But honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. Honestly, I'm really glad we didn't get Tyreek Hill. I'm glad we stuck to our guns, and I am so happy I'm so happy we are in the position that we are in. I know me and you have talked about it. I know everyone else is talking about it, but I think it's just going to continue to get better.
It's crazy you say that, right? Because I've been asked this question a couple of times. You mean to tell me you'd rather have Garrett Wilson vice Tyreek Hill? But people don't realize it's not just Tyreek Hill and then we don't have Garrett Wilson. Like, ultimately, I think the Jets would have probably went JJ with that 10th pick if we get Tyreek Hill. I don't think
agree.
JJ gets gotten, which means we don't have Breece Hall, right? And from the sounds of it, we would have lost all of our second-round picks too. So, like, we're limited dramatically in what we're able to do. And I think at the end of the day, we would have Tyreek Hill, we would have Jermaine, we would have obviously have Sauce. We want to risk the two first, but we don't have a Breece Hall. As much as we all love Michael Carter, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't an individual that was even looking at running back as something that Jets were going to do. I really thought, you know what, Michael Carter balled out. You know what I'm saying? He's running back one. Ty Johnson, serviceable. Tevin Coleman, you know what, serviceable. We have an average running back room, and Joe Douglas to have the forethought and the foresight actually to realize, you know what, an average running back room is not enough to help my quarterback. And I'm going to make a move to get the consensus number one running back in this draft. I never thought Breece Hall was going to be on New York Jets. I didn't. I thought we were going to be looking at third round, fourth round for a couple of the guys to go ahead and throw in there. Yeah. And Breece Hall was, I mean, at this point, I guess Damian Pierce wouldn't have been too bad, right? Like he's killing it right now in Houston.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately Breece Hall being the consensus number one back, and Joe Hall having the balls to go ahead and say, yeah, I'm gonna move up to grab this guy because I know what he can do. Respect, man. Respect, because I don't think any of us, I don't care who you are as a Jets fan. There's no Jets fan that was thinking, you know what we need to do? We need to go ahead and take one of those premier picks in round 2 and draft a running back. No one was thinking that. Joe Douglas was. You were? You were one of those guys who thought we should grab a running back in round 2.
Dude, Breece Hall is a special guy, and I just know how Joe. It's if you see Joe's track record with everything he's done this year, hell yeah, I totally expected this. I know a lot of people are like, go defensive end, go another lineman or linebacker, but man, I just had this gut feeling. He went up to go get JJ. Why not go up and get Breece Hall? I wanted either Breece Hall or Cook from the Bills, and I'm glad we went with Breece Hall. I really was.
I wanted Nakobe Dean. I wanted Nakobe Dean so bad, watching him fall.
Me too, though. I did. I wanted both. I wanted both.
I knew there was
Dean.
no way the top running back was going to get past the Buffalo Bills. Like, I knew that wasn't going to happen. So for me, I was just like, all right, Nakobe Dean was the priority. I thought bringing him in was going to be a must, and people were complaining about his pectoral injury or whatever. I didn't give a shit. I wanted Nakobe Dean.
Me neither.
Like, I didn't care.
Me neither. Exactly.
I was like, get this man. This is the second round. He's a round 1 talent, like a high caliber round 1 talent, and you're seeing it. He's balling out right now.
Right.
You're seeing it.
Agreed.
Like, so,
Yeah.
But I can't complain with having Breece Hall. I think Quan Alexander has made me feel much better about not having a Kobe Dean because Quan's been balling out.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
Like, but Breece Hall, man, has made it so much easier on Zach and Joe Flacco, of course, right? And he's only gotten better each game. That's the scary part, man. Another individual that got drafted this year that has literally had to adjust to the NFL game. And I don't think we've seen him at full strength. We have not seen Breece Hall at full strength. How terrifying is that for the next opponent? Because this man just pretty much put 200 yards on, and arguably the best part of the freaking Dolphins defense is stopping the run. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
the passing, they're limited, but passing the run. And Breece Hall just went through them like they were non-existent.
From yesterday's trash.
Exciting. Shout out to everybody in the chats, man. DKB, man, appreciate you, brother. Motor Marine, man, nice to see you out here as well. Mark Reese, hey, dog, awesome cat. You know, I got to meet him as well during the season opener. Mike costs Jets all the time. I like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you doing? He has a comment here. Joe Douglas looks at the draft in the first round as impact players. They won starters. You're right. Like, I think he meant day one starters. 100%. Like, and I think again, it's kind of surprising to a bunch of us, man, is that these guys are all impact day one starters. Like, granted, the New York Jets had a lot of needs. Like, we weren't by any means the best roster. We knew we had a lot of needs and a lot of things had to be turned around. Some stuff happened, in free agency. We got a couple of guys and we filled some holes, but we weren't expecting these guys. Every single player drafted this year has contributed in a positive way thus far this year for the New York Jets.
All of them.
Every single one of them, bro.
They have been our best players. The rookies have
Facts.
not been our best players. If you want to argue with that with anybody, there's no argument. Look at the stats. Look at what they've done. Look at Max Mitchell. He's proven it. Proven it.
Bruh.
Mangold called that. Nick Mangold called that. Hey, good job, Nick. Cheers to you.
You see Clemens, obviously our last pick, right? Like, a lot of people, when Clemens was drafted, we were probably like, why are we drafting an edge rusher right now when we've got a stacked D-line?
Yeah.
And a lot of people thought, hey, he's more of a freaking like, oh, he's going to be one of those guys that, they're going to have to put work in, you know what I'm saying, underrated. But he's a grown man coming into the NFL. One of the benefits that he has is that he doesn't have to grow into his body. He was 25 years old tossing kids around in the SEC. He came into the NFL.
True.
Now he's tossing around grown men. Now, granted, he still has to go ahead and add to his plethora of pass rush moves, and I do believe he's still limited in terms of hip flexibility to go ahead and be a consistent, like, go kind of guy. But he's strong as all hell, and he's quick, and he's also been impactful in the special teams. Bro, every single player that Joe Douglas drafted in the 2022 class has been impact players this year, which is unheard of. Unheard of.
Yeah. Best draft in not only the Jets' history, in my opinion, but in all of the NFL. When can we say that a team has done something like Joe Douglas has done? I really can't think of anyone. I would love for someone to tell me, because every single pick we got that whole 3 days, I wanted to do backflips. It was an amazing draft. And you know what? I can't wait until he does it next year.
Bro, that's the crazy part. The thing is this, right? Like, we're going into next year's draft, which, by the way, as I'll be the first to admit, this is the first time we've gotten into October in almost 5 years that I didn't start looking at prospects for the New York Jets to draft to follow the next draft, because we're not going to have a top pick this year, right? And to me, every year for 5 years, I was like, all right, okay, it's all good. We might sneak here and there. Let me go ahead and see what we have at offensive line, for next year. Let me see what the quarterback level. Like, bro, I made a tweet about this over the weekend. I watched the football on Saturday, college football on Saturday, and I watched it just to watch, just to enjoy. It wasn't me watching to see, all right, well, which team has the top prospect at freaking linebacker? Which team has the top prospect at tackle? Which team has the top prospect at quarterback? Didn't need to do it. I watched football on Saturday purely for joy. And I can't even begin to express to you how much more fun it was to watch a full weekend of football, Saturday and then Sunday, and it was just joy. It's insane to be in this position, man. Mike says, he brought up the fact that, in 2015, most of the line was made up of veterans. Only Mangold and Ferguson were our draft picks. Like, yeah. Like, I mean, I'll say right now, we got, Vera Tucker, Max Mitchell, that's it, right? Everybody else is pretty much
which part?
Our offensive line right now in terms of what it's made up. So I think it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I think the holes. I think we need a little bit of holes, but I don't know. I kind of like where we're going with it, though. Are you satisfied with the O-line? I was concerned. You're not?
In terms of, like, for this year? Yes.
For I'm only talking about this year. I'm not talking about next year.
So, okay. Then in terms of this year, I feel better about it, man. I think Dwayne Brown showed us against a Dolphins defensive line, by the way, that actually is top 5 in pressures in the league.
Last at the running game, though. Last at the running game.
This is true. Last at the running game. But it's all good. I think that it's a little give and take, right? I think they're good. They still need to gel. Yeah. They still need to get better. Dwayne Brown creating time for Zach. I think right now, and it sounds so cliche to say this, man, but knowing what Zach Wilson is, to me, is the most important thing. I think giving him the time necessary for us to properly evaluate that man is so important that even if we don't see our running game excel, I think we know those running backs are uber talented. We also know that the offensive line is still a work in progress. And I think next year, I don't care what anybody says, that in the first round, Joe Douglas is looking at the offensive line. I think it's going to be offensive line, safety, linebacker. That's the route I think.
Exactly. It's exactly where he's going. And he's going to pick up a tight end. He's going to because here's the thing. We're paying all these guys a lot of money at tight end, and they really haven't been doing much except Conklin has almost been getting there, but he's dropped a few balls. I hope it's just a fluke, and I hope they both come back stronger. But I mean, it's like that's been our most difficult position to cover, right? And they're not even playing them that much. So it's like, okay, well, I mean, should we even got Uzama? Should we even got Conklin and just invest in Rucker and Cager and then get another one in the draft? I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I
think I don't know what's going on with Conklin, but I am still a believer in what this dude does, man, because he hasn't had drops and fumbles the way that he's shown us this year thus far.
Yeah.
Ever in Minnesota. He had actually last year a 94% catch rate, one of the highest catch rates in the NFL. It's insane. So
Yeah.
I think a
Very
lot of it.
underrated.
Oh, very underrated. And I think right
Very
now with
underrated.
Conklin, man, it's more about the fact that like, bro, we're depending on you. Like you are
Yeah.
a top option in this offense. I'm not saying the stage is too big for him, but I think he does have to acclimate a little bit, and we're seeing the growing pains of that. But I still believe Conklin is going to wind up finishing this year as a top 10 tight end in the NFL. CJ Uzama has been like awfully quiet for me, but we've seen him helping out quite a bit and in blocking sets. So he's been staying in. He's always been a really good blocker, and they're utilizing him as such. But with the Bengals last year, they went to the Super Bowl. He was an intricate piece, an option for Joe Burrow. I want to see him turn that up a little bit. Are they saving him up maybe for a game where we're supposed to be drastic underdogs, and then they're going to go ahead and dog the place for him? I don't know. I just think that he's being underutilized because Uzama brings way more to the table than just blocking and a leadership presence. That tight end room, man, I think I'm still a believer in it, but you're right. I don't think we're going to be seeing these guys as long-term Jets. I think this year and next year, and then, of course, they both have outs in their contracts in year 3. But, yeah, man, I'm excited to see what Joe Douglas will do next year, but it's going to be with a later-round pick, right? I'm anticipating a later-round pick. TKO Steve leaves us a comment, man. Appreciate the comment, TKO. He says the division winner may wind up being the team that stays the healthiest. Okay.
Yeah, but ain't that with everybody though? I mean, I feel like that's with every team.
I would agree. But I can also see like in this situation, right? So Miami beat a depleted, Bills secondary. Like the defense was pretty much a practice squad secondary. Injuries happen.
Yeah.
We wind up beating them with their third-string quarterback in, and their number 1 cornerback and Xavier Howard not being in, right? So and Tua and Teddy, to me, like if they're betting on Tua and Teddy to play a full season, that's a failure on the organization and the fan base to think that all of a sudden these guys aren't going to be known as Mr. Glass and Mr. Glass 2. Like they've not shown you the ability to stay healthy ever in their careers. Why would it change all of a sudden because they have better weapons around them? So I think that's kind of just, delusional thinking. But he's right, though. I think that makes a good point. I think that whoever is the healthiest come the end of it because the Dolphins and I think somebody else pointed it out, too, that they're very top-heavy. Thank you for bringing it up. Here it is. So we got Mike with thank you for bringing about the point Bills and Dolphins being top-heavy. All of them picked up at high-priced veterans. And he's right. He's right. Like, we're in a division right now where the Patriots, I don't know what they were doing in terms of talent, but it's not on par with the other 3 teams. I think Buffalo Bills just said, you know what, blank check. Let's bring everybody on board, and they did that. The Miami Dolphins, they've got some high-priced veterans as well, but I also think that they're in a better position in terms of being able to add a couple more pieces. They're still a few years away before they got to feel the impact of some of those contracts, but the Jets are really the only team that literally have a core group of individuals that we will have for 4 to 5 years on rookie deals. We don't got to worry about it, which is scary to think because that means like we can splurge on a couple players here and there if we wanted to. And this team, this roster is looking pretty damn good. So what do you think about Mike's comment?
Which one? There was a couple.
Do both. So first we're talking about TKO that said the division winner may wind up being the team that's healthiest. And then Mike talking about us having a team that's being built from the ground up, Vice having been bought.
Well, it's one of those things where the Jets in just the division in general, they have always counted us out, but we've always had injuries. It doesn't matter who you are.
True.
Every team is going to go through that, and it's always about the next man up. Just like John Harbaugh, he was down all 3 running backs, brought in 3 other running backs, and it was just fine. So for me, it's always about the next man up, but he does bring up a good point. Injuries, especially with us, Zach came back at a good time, and then Quincy and Mitchell are going to come back at a good time. It's just one of those things where injuries are important to teams when it comes to down the stretch with the chemistry too, because when you have an injury, it throws off the chemistry. And we're still trying to figure that out on offense and defense. So I'm hoping, yes, injuries won't happen with us and everybody else can get injured. I don't wish injuries on anyone, but hey, that would be lovely.
It's football.
Now, it's football. And also, when it comes to building from the ground up, it's really nice to see and know that we have a team that we don't have to worry about for 4 or 5 years when it comes to contracts. But it also can be a dangerous thing because if we splurge on stuff, then it's one of those things where those guys are still developing and doing better. That could become dangerous on given who's going to get that contract. But I'm hoping in the next 5 years, the cap will continue to go up. And Joe Douglas has proven that he is good with money.
Yeah.
So I'm 50-50. I'm worried and not worried. But overall, still think we're in a great position because I agree with you.
100%. We got Mark Reese. Good man, just eating some sushi, enjoying this victory. Like that.
There you go.
The Clemens pick. Joe Douglas was looking at the future. Many of our stacked defensive linemen are going to be free agents next year. Here's a depth piece we use.
He's right.
Yeah, he's right. 100% right.
Curry, Martin.
Curry's
you don't know
gone.
what Martin's going to do?
Well, actually, Martin is a 3-year contract, I think. So
He
I know
is a
we have an out.
contract, but he has an out on the third year.
And
so
we'll have him for next year. So year 3, it'll be him out. I know Carl Lawson's deal actually next year is an option. I believe it's an option for us though. So I mean,
just for us, not him, just us.
So I know we're gonna keep him. Quentin Williams is about to get paid. No freaking way we let Quentin Q walk away. There's just no way.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
So I mean, you're right, man. Like I think Clemens as the pick was a smart idea. 4 years on a rookie deal.
Agreed.
And he has all the upside, right? And the downside is what? He's a situational pass rusher. The guy has the strength, the speed, and he's already got an NFL body willing to go ahead and destroy, opposing offenses. So Joe Douglas, again, man, thinking bigger picture with that pickup. And he's already shown us this year that he can go ahead and make impact plays.
Agree.
I like this one. So Mike says that Mike Koss says that we're going to be picking between 17 and 22. So what do you think about that draft range?
I agree with it. I was thinking more like 19. So he's not far off. I like his range. If we continue to go the way we're going, my prediction is 19. And then I like what Mike says about a center and a tackle. And I agree with it because you don't know what McGovern's contract is going to look like. And we already looks like we got the two on the right side for the future, and Vera Tucker and Mitchell. And Lakin's pretty locked up for a little bit as well. So it's all going to depend on what McGovern and what they do with Fant and Brown on that left side. So I like that comment by Mike too.
Okay. So he says center and tackle. Now, we can't get both in the first round. And
I agree with that.
McGovern, I believe, is on his last year of his contract, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
He is.
Again,
he
man,
is on his last year.
He has played average level center. Like, he hasn't been
not doing
great,
terrible.
But he hasn't been, like, awesome either, right? He's just been an average level center. So, in terms of priority, do we go ahead and look at a tackle in this particular draft? And, again, I hate doing this because I don't think we're going to be in a position to worry about it. But, again, 17 to 22, I have us around that again, 18 to 20 mark. So, like, we're right in the same realm.
Right.
A lot of people will think, like, oh, you thought you were going to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying we're going to the Super Bowl. We're not there yet. We're still rebuilding. We're going to be real about it.
Yeah.
We'll be fighting for a wild card spot, I believe. But at the end of the day, we're going to be in that freaking 18 to 20 range.
I agree.
So,
19 for me.
Okay. So then would you say that you want a tackle or a center, preferably?
Center. I think centers are a dime a dozen. It's hard to get a Pro Bowl, a future center. Mangold was an amazing amazing pickup when we got him. And then Jabrigashaw Ferguson, those guys stayed the longest, in my opinion. So I think center's a dime a dozen. I think we need to pick a center, and you can always go pick up a left tackle. In my personal opinion, when you look at the Jets' future right now, that's just my personal opinion. But I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Douglas does go for a tackle because he does love his tackles.
So oddly enough, man, I thought you were going to go tackle. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't think you were going to go center. But I agree with you. I think we're going to get some static for that because center, I think McGovern being right now the unquestioned like average to below average link on that line. Max Mitchell showed us a lot. We already know Elijah Vera Tucker is a Pro Bowler he's an All Pro at any guard position, a Pro Bowler at any tackle position. We still have Dwayne Brown and we still have George Fant to figure out at the tackle position. And Dwayne Brown is under contract next year too.
Exactly.
Let's not forget, so is Mekhi Becton is under contract next year too.
Exactly.
Now, Mekhi right now, we cannot depend on him to be a starter. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But as the swing tackle, that is not a bad swing tackle to have in the realms. Just kind of waiting. So I think center, I'm with you, man, is the guy that makes more sense.
Agreed.
But do we see ourselves drafting a center in the first round?
But like I've been saying about Brees Hall and Sauce Gardner, I knew Joe was going to do something tricky because that's his track record, and he loves to be a secret. He doesn't need he not only unpredictable, he likes to keep things a secret, tight. He likes to keep it tight with people and tight what he's going to do. And just like we saw behind the scenes in the episodes of Flight 2022, I seriously think he's going to go center. Like, I just have this gut feeling. But he surprises people. So if he goes tackle in the first or second round, I won't be surprised. But I want to know if he's going to do that in the first or second round, what is he looking towards? Is he going to get a linebacker in the first round, a safety in the first round, or is he going to get that in the second or third round? It's unpredictable what he's going to do. But in my mind, that's a smart move.
So then I got to ask you this. So right now I was looking at the linebackers, right? So we got Quincy, we got Quan. Both of them are going to need new contracts next year. And then we got CJ, who we can go ahead and take the hit and let go, or we keep him on anyway at a higher price point and avoid the dead cap, right? So, like, at the end of the day, like, it's win, lose one way or another. It depends on what we decide to do. Do you see a situation or a scenario where we can bring back Quan, Quincy, and maybe even get CJ on a reduced deal?
Yes. CJ, it looks like CJ doesn't want to go anywhere. I think CJ is very comfortable. Yep. CJ looks very comfortable, and if you can get him cheap, absolutely have him come back. Quincy wants to stay too. He wants to be a future Pro Bowler.
Yep.
And he's been saying that all season long. And I think we should. Quan's going to be very difficult because if Quan continues to play how he's playing with all these hard hits.
Be offered money, yeah.
He's going to be not only offered money, I think he's going to be a captain, in my opinion. He's got the captain personality, and he loves Salah too much. I think he came, like he said in his press conference when he came here, he came for Salah.
Yep.
So, and he loves what the Jets are building. So I think Quan is going to be tricky, but I do think he's going to get paid. But I absolutely agree.
Okay.
CJ and Quincy. CJ and Quincy are going to come out. No, dude, I when it comes to Jets football, Gunny, me and you have talked about it. I've talked to a lot of people. You never know what's going to happen. No one should be surprised by anything. We wouldn't got Geno Smith. We wouldn't got Sam Darnold. No one ever thought we would do that, but we did. So it's you just never know. And
I think that changes the dynamic as well, right? So if you're going to spend the money in that linebacker group, you've already got the money into, DJ Reed, White Hicks under contract for 2 more years. I think Joyner he'll be up for a new contract next year, but we keep him or move on. Like, are we sad about it? Like, again, he played really well against the Steelers, so we'll see how he continues moving forward. But the thing that's great about this team is that the Jets right now can go ahead and afford to keep all 3 of those linebackers and pay Quinnen Williams and draft another impressive draft class. Like, That's how you build championship football. You keep
Agreed.
adding to the puzzle. You keep adding to it to finish it. And I think right
Mm-hmm.
now, Joe Douglas is looking at this puzzle board of what he had envisioned the Jets to be, and he's just putting pieces in play. And he's got all the flexibility in the world to go ahead and complete the puzzle next year.
Right.
The Jets could
I agree.
realistically next year have every hole filled on their roster. And
I agree.
they're 3-2 right now. And let's be honest, we have holes on this roster. Imagine this team with a complete arsenal across the board next year.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, it's a youth movement of talent that we can have for the next 4 to 5 freaking years.
Agreed. Agreed.
It's exciting.
I never said. So, sorry, I'm cutting you off. I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. What do you think?
So I think people think that this offseason especially, that we're going to make the wild card or we're going to go to the playoffs and make the Super. Some people were saying we're going to make the Super Bowl.
No.
I think that's still a little bit of a stretch. I think next year we will be taking those steps. I think next year we have not only the team to do it, but if we can fill those holes and the cap continues to go up, heck yeah, next year and the year after I can totally see it. But the fact that we're not going to do it this year. This year is this is a learning year for everybody. This is a learning year for everywhere.
I don't want to say never, only because I think the Bengals last year taught us that you can never say
I
never.
agree.
So,
Never say never.
but no,
I agree with
if
you.
I'm not going to predict the Jets are going to the Super Bowl this year. I just think
And I'm not saying that either. I'm
in
just
the month
saying
of December,
I can see it.
we're fighting for a playoffs. We're fighting for a wild card spot in the month of December. That to me is a hell of a season. That we're in the conversation for a playoff spot in December. In the hunt. I want to see our name flash across the box that says in the hunt. You know what I'm saying? We're all freaking opening gifts and stuff for Christmas Day, and then we're watching football still, and it says, boom, New York Jets are in the hunt. That, to me, is a winning fucking season, bro. Like, I am going to be so ecstatic to go from – we went from worse to in the hunt, and that's asking for a lot. The Jets make the playoffs. I don't care who you are as a Jets fan. We could go one and done, and nobody called that. Nobody called that.
Nobody
Even
called
your
that.
biggest
No.
optimistic did not call the Jets making the playoffs this year. Super Bowl? You know what? Win or lose, you might as well. I'm getting the tattoo. Win or lose. You make it to the Super Bowl, bro, there's going to be a Jets tattoo on my body, bro, because that is not something any of us. So, for me, I think
I'm getting another one of these.
Bro, the dog.
I'm getting another one of these.
Realistically speaking, I'm with you, man. I think that next year the Jets will solidify themselves as teams you have to respect. You can't come into MetLife or play the Jets and just think like, oh, boom, that's a win. You're not gonna put us on that board. You're looking at the schedule and think, oh, it's the Jets. That's a win. Like right now, people are talking about, oh, the Packers are pissed off and they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna be so angry at Lambeau Field. Nobody realizes the New York Jets always play the Packers hard. I don't know what it is.
Always.
Historically speaking, we have always played the Packers at a much higher level than our talent would even dictate as possible.
Agreed.
This year, we have more talent than the Packers.
Yes, we do.
So if we're bringing the same energy by the equation, the Jets should win this game. The Packers right now, man, my wife will tell you she's upset about it. I'm getting the finger right now because I just said that out loud.
Hey, she'll give you that finger all day long.
She will, but
She's
she knows.
gonna give you that finger all day long.
My wife is one of those the Packers fans that will tell you she's very confident when she knows my team is solid. She's watched these games, the last freaking 5 games. She's like, what the hell are we doing? So she's stressing about it. So if she's stressing about it, I'm like, okay, it's not just me being biased and thinking like, oh my God, we have more talent. Their wide receivers aren't scary. Their running game is terrifying. Aaron Jones scares me. And Aaron Rodgers, you can never freaking discard. But in terms of wide receivers, bruh, I think we can leave Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed and freaking Michael Carter one-on-one against those guys, and we're good. Let's focus on stopping the run. The defensive game plan to stop those guys is easy. So on Sunday, I'm still getting the finger, by the way. She's back here.
Hey.
As beautiful as she is.
Tell her I said hi and give her my love.
He says hi, by the way. This is Italy Jet. Gino, we had dinner with him in Long Island. She says what's up. So like she's right now behind the camera, just giving me the finger. It's cool. It's cute. There it is. Now you cannot see it. There it is. She jumped the
Nice little zoom. Nice little zoom shot.
She's
Nice
a
little
Packers
zoom shot.
fan. And on Sunday,
hey.
my wife has never been worried about playing the Jets. She's never had to.
Hey.
Literally, we got 4 kids. Original wager was, listen, whatever team has the best freaking season that year gets to claim that kid as a Jets fan or a team fan. My oldest daughter is 12. She's the only Jets fan in this house. The rest of my kids are all Packers fans. She's never had to worry about the Packers playing the Jets. But I'll tell you now,
Back in
2000, that was that's what I'm saying. That was KK. Yeah, but other than that, right? She's never had to really worry about it. My wife watched them play this past Sunday, and she was like, "Shit, we gotta play the Jets after this." And then she watched the Jets play, and then like she went to bed. She was like, "I'm gonna go take a nap." Like it's one of those things where like I'm like, okay, it's not just me because she watches football. She understands the game. She understands the game, and she's like, "We gotta play the Jets next week." And if my wife is saying that, and she's about as cocky and arrogant and confident as I am, if not more so in many cases. You've met her.
I agree on
so you
all
know.
fronts. All fronts,
Bruh.
yes.
So when
Not
she
a
said
bad
it, I was
thing.
like,
it's just you're very confident people, and that's great. I'm confident.
yeah,
It's all good.
it's all good. It you know what I'm saying? Iron sharpening irons, as they say.
Exactly.
But like
That's
when
what
I
makes
saw
you
her, I'm
so
like,
prepared.
ooh, you're not looking forward to this game. Like that's good. That's comforting. Because usually she's talking shit, man. She's feeling good. She's laughing. It's the Jets. Not last. She's like, ooh, that defense looks pretty good. Okay. She's like, damn, Zach Wilson did not look bad at all this game. So like that shows me it's not just the fanhood, like the fandom that is us, if other people are seeing it. So I'm excited about this game, man. And I know we've been talking a lot about, the past performances of what we've seen. But let's jump into like this game, man. We got like 4 minutes left roughly, right? Hopefully you don't mind me dragging you through a little bit longer. But
No, it's fine.
the Jets play the Packers this weekend.
We
How do
are
you feel
playing
about
the
that
Packers.
game?
Well, my therapist ain't happy about it. And he's a big, big, big Packers fan. So I'm so happy to have that pit in his stomach, to be honest. You know what? It's not only a different feeling. I've been telling my dad this whole week. I'm like, I'm just not used to this. All the teams that I love, half of them are losing teams and half of them are winning teams. But the most that I care about is the losing teams. And it's just, as a Jets fan, how long me and you have been fans for, it's a different feeling because for the first time, and I think ever that I can think of for the Packers, they don't look like they're in sync. Not even close on the wide receiver positions. Rodgers, it looks clueless out there. And not only that, I just think if we can stop the run and get after him, like with the guys that we have, it's going to be amazing. Lambeau's gonna boo everyone like crazy because they're coming off a loss against the Giants.
Yeah.
So, shoot, sky's the limit for us right now. The only team I'm worried about down the stretch, Gunny, is the Bills, and they have injury problems. That's it. I'm not really worried about anybody else.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I'll be the first to admit, right, when it came to this stretch of games, after the season kicked off, my biggest fear was the Dolphins because they looked so explosive on the offensive side. And the Packers because it's freaking Aaron Rodgers, right? You never know what you're going to get from Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. And having watched them the last freaking 5 weeks now, I'm like, oh, of course we beat the Dolphins. But the Packers, I watched that game in the morning with the wife. And I was like, this is the Giants. Granted, they're playing really good ball right now. I get that, right?
They believe in them. They believe in their coach.
They believe in their coach, and they're doing it with minimal talent. They beat the Packers with minimal talent on that roster.
Couldn't agree more.
And I'm like, I looked at her and I'm like, y'all just lost to the Giants. What are you going to do against the fucking Jets? Because we've got talent on our roster, right? Like everybody thought the Giants were going to be picking top 3 this year, right? Like they're rebuilding. Yeah. But it shows you the impact of a good coach because Brian Dable has those guys firing on all. He's maximizing the team that he has. And I mean, let's be honest. Like at the end of the day, it's talent wins football. Like it's just what it is. Talent wins football. eventually good coaching can only do so much, but the Packers are limited at the talent spot. They don't have a lot of talent, and that was the outcome of the Giants being able to get one over on them. So I'm excited for this game, man. And the Patriots, I can't wait for that game. Like you said, man, looking at the thing is this, right? I had us going 3-1 in the stretch of October before the Dolphins game. I'll be the first to admit I thought the Dolphins were going to go ahead and find a way to beat us. And even in my prediction, I had them beat us by a field goal because I just felt that the rapport that freaking McDaniel has had with Saleh, like he knows the scheme very well. And again, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle being the best duo and wide receiver in the league. And now I did so thinking that we just needed one thing to go our way for us to win it. So I had the air quotes when I said, hey, freaking Dolphins win 24-21. Like I did that because I felt like we had the ability to win, but I really thought we might not be able to pull it off. The Jets won. And the Packers don't scare me. Russell Wilson has been atrocious. You see it here. Sergeant Mike talking about, the $50 million a year Aaron Rodgers, the $40 million two guys that grabbed the max money and weakened their teams in doing so. And you're seeing the result of that, man. You're seeing the result. You know why Tom Brady will be forever known as the GOAT, the greatest of all time? Is because that man prioritized winning over money. He took pay cuts year in and year out for assistance. And finally, when the Patriots just didn't provide it, he went to a different team and still took pay cuts so they can go ahead and bring weapons around him. Like, that is a guy that prioritized winning over money any day. He wants his legacy to be, I'm the baddest motherfucker that's ever played this game. And he was willing to sacrifice the immediate payoff, that gratification early for that freaking legacy, the longevity of it. I hate freaking Tom Brady. I despise him.
Me too.
But even as a Jets fan, we have to admit we've seen this man win Super Bowls with two different rosters. And the moment he left the Patriots, they became average. So, damn, that dude really was that good. Yeah. And I was the biggest advocate telling everybody and their mom, Tom Brady, systems quarterback. Everybody that plays freaking with the Patriots wind up freaking getting fat contracts when they leave, and then they're exposed and then they suck. He went to Tampa Bay, and he was the missing piece. They went to a Super Bowl and they won it. And then they're still considered Super Bowl favorites. He's 45 freaking years old. So it took me a while to have to admit it, but I admit to myself that Tom Brady is a GOAT. He is probably the greatest in our lifetime. As much as we freaking hate his guts, bro, we got blessed to see this man play at the level that he's played.
I agree.
For a decade and a half, decade plus, two decades.
I agree.
That's a gift if you're a football fan. So, but right now we're seeing it. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, those games don't scare me.
So let me tell you something. I'm going to talk about Wilson and I'm going to talk about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, when Adams left, they counted so much on the draft and they counted so much on Sammy Watkins to come in. Now Sammy Watkins, we all know he's injury prone and that's not going to work. Your rookies still have to develop chemistry with them. And once they develop, they're going to be good down the stretch. And we're playing the Packers at a good time because they're still trying to figure it out. And OBJ is rumored to go there. So it's one of those things where we are playing them at a good time when they're trying to figure it out. That's what I'll say about the Packers, number one. Number two, Wilson is known for being a difficult quarterback to get along with. He doesn't hold accountability to himself. He blames other people in the locker room. He clashes with Carroll. He clashed with so many people in the Seattle organization. Tyler Lockett, in an interview, if you saw the first or second week of this year, he said we needed a new everything. We needed new blood. We needed to surround people with new voices. Voices. The key word is voices. And when Bobby Wagner went out and Wilson went out, Wilson's baggage brought him to the Broncos. People are starting not to like him. He is difficult to get along with again. And not only that, his players are not really confident in him right now. Hopefully that changes for him because I wish Wilson all the best of luck and everything. I'm not trying to dog him. I'm just saying this is what I've just been seeing, interviews, stats, everything. And he's not the same old Wilson. No. He really isn't. He's getting older and he's not scrambling. He's scrambling getting tackled. That's what he's doing. He doesn't have to doesn't have the legs to go up to the right anymore. So that's just what I think. We're playing these guys at a really good time, and the Green Bay's jet lagged, and Broncos are coming off 2-game losing streak. So it's the sky's the limit for us right now.
I'm glad you brought that up. The Green Bay Packers chose to bypass a bye week to play the Jets, and the reason being was because they felt that, it is what it is. Not worried about it. It's the Jets. Easy win. That's the only reason why you go ahead and do that and come back and decide you're going to play a game, because they had the option. I think they're going to regret it. In fact, I think they're already regretting it because they're seeing like, well, crap, we are not as good as we thought we were going to be. They're way better than we thought they were going to be. And now we have to find a way to go ahead and play them right now, coming off of a freaking a loss, and like you just said, being jet lagged. I'm so excited. I know to know that we're playing one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, which would usually terrify most people, and to sit here and be like, I'm pumped. I can't wait for this game, because you know what's going to happen. Ultimately, we beat these guys on Sunday, and I'm not saying we're going to. I'm just saying that we should. We should beat these guys on Sunday. And if we beat these guys on Sunday, the narrative shift that's been slowly happening since the beginning of the season, right? Like slowly beginning, we would have Russell Wilson at 3-0. He'd be one of 3 undefeated quarterbacks thus far in 2022. Him, Cooper Rush, and of course Jalen Hurts. And they just beat Aaron Rodgers, first ballot Hall of Famer, with a team that is supposed to be going to the playoff, walking into the playoffs. Easy. That becomes that statement game. I think for Jets fans, the Jets organization, the Miami Dolphins game was a statement game because that was important. We had to get that one in our division, and to knock the Dolphins from number 1 to number 3 with 1 win is just, you gotta appreciate that. But this game is going to force individuals to look at us and be like, damn, the Jets are serious. They're serious. Exactly. And even though the Packers are struggling, they're healthy. So we beat a healthy Packers team. Yes. That, I think, is going to set it's going to be a big game changer. Set the tone moving forward.
Agreed. I couldn't agree more. I agree. Right. It's everything.
We've got a bunch of comments, man. Look, everybody, appreciate you guys for the comments, the questions. I haven't seen any questions we haven't answered yet. Sergeant Mike, you know what I'm saying? Mike Koss, Jets Mess, man. Again, you guys are awesome. Everybody, TKO, Mark Riss, you know what I'm saying? Like DK, man. Like, appreciate you guys for all the comments, the love. I know we've gone a little bit over. We're going to get into our predictions here for the game on Sunday. Joe Douglas might not be the same thing this year for the King. Joe Douglas might do the same thing this year. With a free agent, unlike the other teams I mentioned before, he's spending money on non-premium position. That's a good point too. Joe Douglas has spent money, and the thing that's interesting about that is he spent money, but it's been on positions of need, but not paying a premium. DJ Reed, I swear to God, DJ Reed was 2 inches taller. There's no way the Jets wind up having him on this roster. Other teams put so much emphasis on his size is the only reason why I think he's rocking a New York Jets uniform right now. And other teams right now are kicking themselves in the ass like, damn, that dude is playing. He's the number 3 defensive back in the NFL right now. But we didn't even submit an offer because he was 5'9". Hey, that dude plays bigger than he is, and it's been a benefit for the Jets.
Agreed. I couldn't agree more. I think what is your so I mean, I know your wife's a Green Bay Packers fan. I'm guessing she's been one her whole life. What is your prediction for Sunday? And I just want to imagine this real quick.
Okay.
You have a very nice house. Your wife is very lovely. Is it going to be World War III or 4 if she loses against the Jets on Sunday for you?
She's going to be pissed. I'll tell you right now, she's going to be pissed because, again, she's a Marine too, bro. Like, I met her in the Marine Corps. Like, she's competed with me throughout our career. Like, she hates to lose, right? Like, this is a woman who decided she didn't want to do wrestling against females in high school because they were too easy to beat, and so she decided to fight males. She literally was like, "Hey, I want to go ahead and fight males in my weight class, and was beating them too. Like she's as competitive as it comes. I think that's why my kids are such freaking savage barbarians. You know what I'm saying?
Let's
Like,
do it. Let's do it.
So my house is big, so I'm probably gonna wind up having to hide out upstairs somewhere, maybe in the loft or something, because I'm going to celebrate unmercifully. I can't help it.
Me too.
And
Me
she's
too.
going to be very angry unmercifully. So
Oh yeah.
either she'll go into our room and she'll pout and be upset, because I know if they win, I'm going to my room. I'm going to go into our room and I'm going to close the door and I'm going to pout and be pissed off and be agitated. But yeah, I'll probably wind up going upstairs. Oh, my brother's house is down the street. I'll probably just wind up going to Brad's house down the street.
There you go.
And just chill there, because whoever loses this game on Sunday, it's not going to be pretty here. It's just not. And I already know
it's just
it.
not.
It's just.
Well,
it is what it is.
Respect to you too, for Marines. My brother and my grandpas were Marines, so Simplify. Appreciate what you guys have done.
You, thank you, man. Appreciate you.
And then overall, I'm surrounded by Cowboys and Chiefs fans on Sundays and Rams fans. So if anything happens, I'm gonna have the receipts against them, and it's just gonna be fun. It's gonna be so much fun.
So with that said, I'm gonna say this. So my prediction for this weekend. So I'm gonna predicate this by saying this. So week 1, I had the New York Jets beating the Baltimore Ravens. Right? We wound up losing that game.
Okay.
Week 2, I had the New York Jets losing to the Cleveland Browns. We won that game.
Right.
Then I had us beating the Bengals because their offensive line was trash. We lost that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, all right, we're going to lose to the Steelers because Mike Tomlin is just an incredible coach. He's going to outcoach us. We're going to lose. We won that game. So I learned my lesson in the first 4 games. I decided to go ahead and start betting against the New York Jets. So last week, I stated the New York Jets were going to lose to the Miami Dolphins 24-21, just like this.
Okay.
I wanted to put it out there in the air to the cosmos so the football gods realize I'm sacrificing, you know what I'm saying, like my pride by saying the Jets are going to lose.
Right.
And they wind up destroying the freaking Miami Dolphins. So, with all that being said, right, the New York Jets are going to go to Lambeau Field and they're going to lose 27 to 21. My prediction for this game is 27-21. New York Jets wind up taking the win. We're going to see a defensive game from our secondary. I expect a couple of turnovers. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, the New York Jets lose that game 27-21 in Lambeau.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Gunny. I have been betting on the Jets to win and come close every single week. With the Jets, it's always about the 5 to 7 minute mark in the fourth quarter because this team always makes it so close.
Yep.
Always makes it so. If we have learned throughout the 10 or 11 years that we haven't talked about that, now we can talk about it. That, especially the last 6 games last year and going into this year, my predictions has always been we are either going to win against the Ravens close by a touchdown or a field goal. Then the second week against the Browns, I think we were going to win by a touchdown. And then against the Steelers the third week?
Uh-huh.
No. Who was the third week?
Yeah, it was
Steelers. Yeah, it was Steelers.
No, third week
Browns.
Was Bengals. It was Bengals.
Bengals. That's what it is.
Bengals.
I keep forgetting
Yep.
it. I knew we were going to make that close, and I think the Bengals were going to win by a touchdown. Steelers, though, I think we were going to win. I really do think we were going to win. I think, and then I think Pickett was just going to ball out against us, and it happened for a little bit, but then we stepped up with Joyner, and I had to eat that receipt. So then with the fifth one, the recent one we just had, I think we were going to make it close. We were going to win by a touchdown. I did not predict the blowout, but everybody was telling me that we would win by a blowout, and I'm like, okay, I could see it, but I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to get my hopes up.
Yeah.
So going into this game against Aaron Rodgers, I am confident that we are going to win by a touchdown. In the fourth quarter, 5 to 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, with the high that we have, even if we look like crap in in the second or third quarter, our best performances are always in the first and fourth quarter. It's when we come out. I don't know why, but hey,
consistent.
Do you believe in miracles?
I do believe in miracles.
Let's go. There we go. 27-20 Jets, fourth quarter.
I think that what it ultimately boils down to, brother, is that we're in a position this week where we can be literally talking about beating the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field against a healthy Aaron Rodgers. And I don't care who you are. None of us thought that. When my predictions before the season started, I didn't have us beating the Packers. When the season started, I didn't have us beating the Packers. In fact, 2-3 weeks into the season, even though they were struggling, I didn't have us beating the Packers. And now I'm sitting here like, yo, we could beat the Packers. It's just different to see just how much we've grown in terms of this season. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that defense, the youth of our team, bypassed the learning curve. They didn't need it. They decided they were going to come into the NFL and take place right where they left off leaving from college, which accelerated the potential growth of this team this year. And Aaron Rodgers right now, man, people are saying like, oh, it's been a couple of games, like he really hasn't done anything too impressive. He was freaking 2 yards away from having a 3-touchdown game against the Dolphins. 2 passing, 1 rushing. 2 yards away, that's it. So you're not going to tell me the man that threw for 210 yards, at 66.7% completion rate at a 10 yards per average clip, right? He threw a first down every time somebody caught the ball. And that's what it averages out to be, right? Is that he threw a first down every time he threw the ball. Like, I hate on the man all you want to, man. Aaron Rodgers is balled. I'm not sorry. Zach Wilson has balled out, and I think that. Well, that's what I'm saying, man. I don't think we need Zach Wilson to beat Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, man. We don't need that guy to go ahead and have to be the sole provider of getting points for the team because this team has weapons all over the place, well-rounded.
I agree, but
go ahead.
I don't know. I just want the Zach Wilson back from the last games of six games last year. I love that Zach Wilson. I still think he's still fighting through an injury, still trying to get, things comfortable. And he has looked good at the end. He has. He's looked good in the end. He's looked good in the first quarter. But, I'm still waiting for him to take the steps that he did last season because I like what he did in the last 6 games. I know me and you have talked about it. I know a lot of people have talked about it. But I really am waiting for him to just have that game where he throws for, 4 touchdowns. I love when he runs the ball, but it scares me too because I don't want him to get injured. Right? So
terrifies me because he's not a big guy.
It's terrifying.
He's not Josh Allen size. He's 6'2", 215 pounds. I know that's a decent size, in civilian terms. In NFL terms, hey, you a little guy, and I don't want to see our quarterback running more than he needs to. But that touchdown he got, where he pretty much freaking bull rushed through and dove for the freaking end zone. I don't know about you, but I held my breath. Dude,
I had a heart attack.
Oh my God.
I almost had a heart attack.
What is he doing? Yeah.
Right.
So I would rather see him throwing those passes to the running back or the wide receivers and let those guys do what they do. But nah, man, I think I disagree, man. I think that with Zach Wilson, he is doing exactly. This is why we have a great dynamic, bro. But I think Zach Wilson is doing what we saw him doing last year. He didn't throw 4 touchdown passes last year. He threw 2 on average, right? He had a higher completion percent, and he didn't turn the ball over. We saw that towards the back end of the year. And, yes, he threw the 2 interceptions his first game back, right, against the Steelers. First of all, Minka Fitzpatrick is a freak of nature. That's just somebody who's going to get his. But the reads were right. The difference this time was the reads were right. The throws were not, right? I'm okay with him throwing interceptions if the ball is going where it should be going. Even though there were bad throws. Like the end of the day, one was too high for Conklin. I still put it on Conklin because it hits both hands. You're an NFL tight end. You got to catch that. The overthrow for Jeff Smith, I do think that Elijah Moore was supposed to finish that route going into the end zone to pull his man with him. Otherwise, it's going to be an overthrown ball or a baddie thrown ball. Incomplete, not intercepted, but Elijah Moore got lazy, and his DB peeled off and got the interception. But nonetheless, the reads were accurate in terms of the direction he should have gone with the ball. So I'm okay with that. But the fourth quarter, that was a symphony, bro. That fourth quarter comeback win against the Steelers was that man saying, okay, I fucked up here and I fucked up there. I'm gonna stop doing that. And in the fourth quarter, he just there was no dinking and dunking. My man went 10 for 12, 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Like 2 touchdown drives in the fourth quarter. You can't ask for better play. And then you saw that again against the Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins is kind of funny because a lot of people are like, "Oh, he kind of dinked and dunked," and I'm like, "How do you dink and dunk when you have?"
I don't think he
10
dipped
yards?
and dunked.
No, I'm not saying you said that.
Yeah.
But what, like, for me, the game plan was just so impressive. To me, I think on Sunday, what we're not seeing is that the coaching was immaculate, and this is what I mean. LaFleur knew coming into that game that they were going to focus on stopping the run. He knew every team's going to do that because Zach is still young, hasn't proven enough that you have to be terrified of his arm, even though he can make a play here and there. They knew they were going to focus on the run, and they stacked the box, man. Like if you watch the tape, like they stacked the box. They pretty much had, I think, 3 linebackers, or maybe it was 2 linebackers and a safety. I don't know.
So they had two safeties and two linebackers on that play, and two people are always open at all times.
Facts. Because they were focused on stopping the run. It wasn't until the wheel route from Breece Hall that Mike LaFleur decided, all right, they're being disrespectful. I think it was a cover one. It was a cover one scheme with press man coverage. So they were pretty much like lined up against the wide receivers, man to man, press man coverage with 1 safety over the top. Disrespectful as hell. Like that means like, we know you're not going to throw it, bro. We're going to go ahead and just stop the run. And Michael Ford looked at it and he was like, all right, bet. This is the play. This is the call. Breece Hall on that wheel route that he got the 70-yard freaking scamper on when he almost drug the little guy into the freaking end zone was purely based off of them disrespecting the ability to throw the ball. They set that up beautifully because after that, it forced the Dolphins to respect the game. And then they just never – they stopped the run against the Jets. Well, it was like 5 attempts. I think it was like 18, 19 yards, 5 attempts. It was bad. It wasn't impressive. But after that, they couldn't just –
It was 6. 6 with 18 yards,
6 with 18? Yeah. So, they did a great job stopping the run. They weren't respecting the pass. When you forced them to respect the pass because we had to go ahead and kind of like get them geared up to like, all right, run, boom, here's the pass. And it killed them. Like, that was just high IQ football play. Like, you didn't need Zach Wilson to do much because he could go ahead and take what the defense gave him. And he did that last year too, man. Again, would I love to see Zach Wilson throw for 300-something yards, fucking 4 touchdowns, and just light up a freaking – I would love to see it. But I would rather see him play mistake-free football like he did this past Sunday, showing his ability to progress, look through his reads, and take what the defense gives him. He was accurate. And, again, he's 2 yards away, man. 2 yards away from 3 touchdowns that game. 2 yards. That's it. That's how close he is in the second game back in the regular season coming off of injury.
Agreed.
We're going to see a couple of 3 touchdown games from Zach Wilson this year. I think we just need to be more patient. But in the meantime, I just got to appreciate the fact that we're seeing such a level of growth to where this guy is making smart – he's playing high IQ football. And he has the arm talent to go ahead and do backyard football if we need him to. Like, that's what's so beautiful about it.
I agree with that.
Damn, bro, we've gone over. I got to go ahead and go eat dinner with the family. They're waiting on me still.
It's cool. My wife is like, come back in here and love me.
Yeah, she came out a couple of times like, are you serious? Like, we haven't eaten yet together. You've been at work all day. You came straight here and jumped on the stream thing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, one of the perks of if having somebody that loves you and wants to spend time with you, you know what I'm saying? So, again, shout out to everybody, man, that showed up on the chat today with the questions and the comments. Sergeant Mike, I appreciate you. I put in work to make sure this audio and the video was not going to act up. So, man, I'm glad you noticed. So he's the only person that said something. So thank you, Sergeant Mike. Nice. We appreciate it. We put in some work to make sure the audio set up, the visual set up worked well, and there was no issues. Good night, everyone. Good night, Nathan. 31-14 Jets. Ooh, wow. Okay. Mike Coss says 31-14 Jets. I like it. I love it. I'm not going to say it's impossible because, again, I didn't think we were going to drop 40 on the Dolphins either, and yet here we are. We're doing just that.
Amen.
Sacks, 2 interceptions the previous week at worst were only partially his fault. Facts, agreed. I don't give that 100% on him. The right read, I will say the Jeff Smith one was a combination of him and Elijah Moore being lazy. It was kind of a bad throw, but the right read, Elijah Moore should have finished his route. Tyler Conklin, I'm sorry, man. You're an NFL tight end. When both your hands touch the ball like that, you got to catch it. He volleyballed it up.
Dude, couldn't agree more.
Simplify. Sergeant Mike, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Brees Hall has 2 TDs, 1 receiving and 1 rushing this week. God damn. All right. It's okay. So Mike Collins is predicting Brees Hall to have
I take that.
I'm all about it.
I'll run the bank with that. I'll run the bank with that.
Let's go. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I start him in fantasy, most def. But before we jump off, man. Go ahead. What's up?
Dude, this more one finally breaks out also this week. We've been saying that these last 3 weeks. I'm just going to enjoy more, and just if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
So I think with that, man, I think it's a combination of teams knowing what Elijah Moore's about, bro. But the thing is, I'm still seeing him getting open. When you watch all 22 film, it's going to piss you off. Because he's getting open at will, bro. And
and Wilson. Him and Wilson.
Yeah,
getting
at
open
will.
so much.
It's disgusting. It's like having it's like they're varsity guys playing against JV guys every time they step out there. It's beautiful to see it. It's just we want to start seeing it impact. Like I want to see those guys start getting some balls thrown their way so they can go ahead and destroy the game. But nah, Emore is definitely due for one, man. And I thought it was going to be this past week because he destroyed freaking Miami last year. But it was the coming out party for Brees Hall. So it wouldn't shock me at all if this is the game we see him come out. Sergeant Mike says 31-13, easy win.
Woo!
Look, it's a beautiful thing to have Jets fans feeling this confident playing the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. That shows you just how far this team has come. Because, honestly, the majority of us would have probably been like, we're going to lose that game, but hopefully it's a close game. Hopefully it's close, and we show up, we make an effort. We've got individuals talking a blowout in terms of playing Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau Field. I love it.
When was the last time we talked about that?
I don't think I have in my lifetime, bro. Like I said before,
me neither.
I've got 3 kids who are Packers fans, so I know for a fact I have.
And then Mike saying about Conklin, first TD, start of the game.
I would love that because I picked him up on fantasy football in 3 leagues, man, thinking he was going to be tied. Oh,
good.
And he hasn't paid off yet. Hey, Gino, do me a favor, brother. Tell the people where they can go ahead and see you at, man.
Definitely. And so everything NYJ podcast and Italy Jet is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat and TikTok. So you guys can follow me on there. I'm always active, always collabing with people, always have my show. Me and Gunny do a show every Thursday night with Banks. We love it. It's great. Follow Gunny. Follow me. We're all building it together, man. Jet up.
Jet up, man. This has been great, brother. I appreciate you for coming on. It's just fun to be talking about the Jets like this in a positive light. And, I'll see you on Thursday, bro. Got our other live stream. And, again, you can go ahead and see us on DK's channel.
Yep.
Jet Squad. I'm thinking
so it's Jets Flight Squad. Jets Flight
Thank
Squad.
You. I'm like, what am I missing? I'm missing a word. Jets Flight Squad. Man, we just started it. We just had our first episode last week, so it's new. But Jets Flight Squad on DK's channel. You get all 3 of us pretty much going back and forth, and of course, we'd love to see you guys join us and give us your thoughts as well. But everybody, have a good night. Again, I appreciate you guys for locking in. We got the Packers up next. It's going to be a great time. As always, go Jets.
Amen.
Good night, everybody.
Go Jets. Good night.
Man, that came out. Was it good?
I think it's still live. It's still live.